Blessed love. It's your Empress Jazzy. Thanks for tuning in. So I was watching this documentary last night, and obviously Afghanistan has kind of been headlines lately because of the abrupt exit from the U.S. and the Taliban, and a lot of madness going on throughout the whole world, really. So this prompted I and I to, do what I do best, and that's write. So I did that, and this is not like a poem. Again, I share I and I thoughts, and mostly it is always going to be, you know, African based or diasporan based, or just like things that's going on in the world that I feel should pay attention to, whether it's our race or not, because we still live in it, so we need to be aware. Very aware. Or it can creep into our own neighborhoods like it has. So I was thinking, right, about heroin, right? That's a huge issue going on, been resurfacing for like about 20 years, right? So first it was in the 60s, right? 50s, 60s, after the Great Depression. Then you seen it in the Renaissance, Harlem Renaissance neighborhood, and then you see all these things, and then it kind of, it dies down once the Taliban government took hold of the country, or took their country back, per se. They didn't take hold of the country because that's where they belong. That's their home. And I don't agree. I'm not, this is not a video to say I'm picking sides on anything, regardless of who I speak in this piece. I'm not taking sides. It's facts, right? That's what we're searching for. We're searching for facts. We're not sharing our opinions or feelings, right? We need to go off of what is based, what is true, what's right in our faces, right? So, like I said, I was watching this documentary last night, and I'm like, do you ever wonder where it was sourced, or what determines the potency, and when did it become a hot commodity here in the West and around the world? Or do we focus so much on only our race that we miss the crossfire between how we make up a large percentage of the world, meaning it affects our people the most? So I don't think we pay attention to how it affects us, and how, you know what I mean? Like, to be like, oh, that's a white person problem. That's this person problem. That's that person problem. That has nothing to do with us. But it still, at the end of the day, comes back down to us, right? So then we view the Taliban as evil terrorists. Yet, from the support of the UN in 2000, they suppressed the usage and dealings of heroin, collapsing it by 94%. Like, that's almost eradicating it completely. I mean, I'm pretty sure they had some off the wall tactics to do that, because, you know, Jah has the last judgment, right? That's what I'm just gonna leave it at. Jah has the last judgment, and that's what I'm gonna say on that. But does anybody presuppose that the United States government had something to do with the war, due to the Taliban fucking up their money, opposed to war on terrorism? You know, the date was October 7th, 2001, and that's when this war on terror occurred, and that was the beginning of the rise of heroin. Again, perpetual cycle, perpetual cycle. Opium production has increased by 50 or 50 times, right? 50 times from roughly 185 ton in 2001 to reaching 9,000 metric tons. Do you even understand the magnitude of how large that is? Like, that's a huge increase, you know? Phew. Like, I can't even imagine, like, how many acres that, I mean, obviously it tells you, but, like, I couldn't imagine visualizing it. That's like, feels like it would be like the whole country um having like poppy opium trees or whatever everywhere. But I'm not naive to understand what's really going on, right? At times I contemplate how much was Trump really trying to look out for the American people, because he mentioned, getting the troops out, because this is a war. This is an epidemic on drugs. This is a war on drugs. This is not a war on terror. So Trump, like, he was trying to get his people out because he's like, yo, we have no reason to be here, you know. Um, and again, I say, by no means am I taking partial sides or agreeing with anyone's no political stance here. Truth is what I seek. Take into account the overdoses rate, the crime rates increasing. In 2007, Afghanistan produced 93% of the illegal non-pharmaceutical grade opiates. 93%. That means when you see people getting high, that shit came from there. That shit came from the desert. Straight up. Like, I mean, not even the desert, because Afghanistan is very luscious. Like, the agriculture before the destruction was beautiful, you know. Um, but man, I can't speak on the the hurt you feel for the children. You know what I mean? Like, for I mean, they're innocent. They don't know what's going on. They don't know this, like, what, 5 decade old beef or control that America has and Afghanistan have, you know. So it's like, as a mother, it's like, damn. Like, imagine me losing my daughter over something I had no parts in. But because I was in this place at this particular time, my child was at this place at this particular time, we just happened to be in the crosshair. Like, that's madness. Madness. You think about it. 7,411 miles separates us from Afghanistan. That's a long travel. So where does it stop? Because it can't just go straight here, because you have security. You have, I mean, if you're not doing it yourself, you have all these little checkpoints, that you have to go to, maybe different countries, you know, um, maybe a whole different continent to get the product to where you want it to destroy people at the end of the day. People don't even think about this, how this is also part of a population control, because if you think about it, people get high, people don't know the potency of the drugs that they're taking. They take a little too much, they inject a little bit too much, they sniff just a little too much, and this life for them is over. And that's one less body on this earth for these so-called eugenics people and these philanthropists and all this other bumblecluts, and you know. So these are things like, I feel like everyone should just try to find out stuff and get out of their own comfort zone, get out of their own um, form of normalcy, and just learn. Just learn, just learn, and look up things. Like, don't be like, okay, well, I'm Rasta, so I'm only gonna look up black things, or I'm, uh, I'm like Afrocentric or Pan African, whatever. But I'm not going to be aware of the evils that's surrounding I. Like that make like why, why, why? That's my main thing. So, um, yeah. What else is there? What else is there? What else is there to say? Sometimes, like, I just get lost in thought, and I'm just thinking. And I know I'm not the only one to like do this, where it's like you you you're in a mental simulator, and it's crazy. Like, I was just watching something last night, and this prompted me to like kind of start making it like a mini essay, because these are just so right now just my thoughts. I'm not done, I'm nowhere near done, because I don't want to do short things all the time. Like with my poems, I don't mind, but when it comes to like things that truly affect us, whether we realize it or not, this has to take thought. This has to take meditation. This has to take patience with yourself. This has to take knowing that, hey, all the pieces will come together and everything will make sense if it doesn't already make sense to the eye. So keep this eye open. Always. Always keep the third eye open. So we know that war is big business. It always has been. It always will be. You know, always. And the one with the most money usually is the one who wins. But this has to stop. We have to come together. The meek must come together. Because with our wisdom and with our resilience, we can overcome and overtake, period. But we have to come together first. Unity is a must. It's a must. It's no longer a question. It's no longer an option. It's a must. So, you think about it. In the 1970s, the CIA launched the opium economy in Afghanistan. In the 70s, that's when you had people not having to wear burqas, no hijabs, dressing all unmodestly, you know, just a lot of wickedness that the West brought. They tried to adapt, and the traditional people of the country is like, no, we're not having that. So then you think about how many brothers and sisters have lost their lives. How many have lost their lives to this? Whether it's because they were a user, maybe they were a victim of a user who was on a high or messed up trip. Our brothers and sisters that fought a war that they had no fucking business in, and it lost their lives for it, lost a limb for it, lost their brain. Like they can't even function. They alive, but they, you know what I mean? Like their children have to take care of them. And their children's like 10, 12. And it's just really, it really makes you think. But it should make you think. I can't say it does make you think. It should make you think. And to look more into what is going on within your own neighborhood, your own backyard, whether you are into politics or you're not. That's irrelevant at this point. At this point, it's irrelevant. You, every single living, literate body must, must pay attention, must seek to find truth. So, I leave you guys with that. Something to think about. You know what I mean? Like maybe if you're reading something, if you watch something and something grabs your attention, like write it down, make a video, do a kind of play. You know what I mean? Like make a rap, do something to like to or dig deeper. You know what I mean? Like I believe DuckGo. I don't use Google. I'm trying not to use all these companies that kind of push for this new world order shit, you know. But yeah, so again, I thank you guys so much for tuning in and being patient with the eye and full join the thoughts of Empress Jazzy. Yes, I. Blessed love, my lords and Empress. Rastafari rule and reign.